hello. Is there only me here? Is there anybody out there? I have to feel like I should start with that. Let me know if you are here. Hello, Chantel. Thank you. Not just talking to myself now. This is good news. I like to be talking to at least one person. You and I can have a lovely chat, just the two of us, Chantel. That'll be fine. So let me know where in the world you are. Chantel, I'd love to know where in the world you are, but obviously I'd love to know where in the world everybody else is as they are coming in. I can see that people are starting to come in now. It's funny this, sometimes there's like loads of people waiting, and sometimes it takes a little while for people to trickle in. But it's all good. Oh, I can see Danielle's here as well. So I'm starting to recognise people's little floaty heads. I can see your little floaty heads. You're from Northern Ireland. Lovely. And there's more people. I think they are, Chantal. Thank you. Lovely to see you. Or not see, but you know, for you to see me. I don't know. So glad you're here. That's a better way to say it, isn't it? I would love to visit Northern Ireland. I have a motorhome, and I think it's one place that we will definitely visit because my daughter is at Bangor Uni in North Wales, and really it's just a little from Holyhead in Anglesey we can get across to Ireland, I believe, on the motorhome, not in the motorhome on its own, but on a boat, obviously of some description. So that would be good. Oh, bring my umbrella. Has summer not arrived there yet, Chantal? We seem to have it today. We have summer today. It's actually 20 odd degrees, beautifully sunny, and I'm sat, as you may be able to see, I'm not sat in a car. I'm sat in Trevor the motorhome. Randomly in a park, only 25 minutes away from my house. But I've got a few things on at the end of the day, and I need to be over here, and then we're going off somewhere. After that, we have to be in Harrogate tomorrow. So we're kind of moving through the day in the motorhome today. So it's nice. It's nice to have a change of scenery. It is lovely actually. I do like pottering around in Trevor. You only get a few weeks of sun, what, every year? Bless you. Warm but rainy, like a tropical jungle. That sounds like fun. Yeah, it's nice. It's lovely here actually. You can probably see it's quite great, and I can hear lots of little children's voices because of course it's the school holidays and there are a lot of children about. They're normally in school and they're here. They're around and about today. So let me know if you've been here before or if you're a newbie. We call the people who've been in before the repeat offenders. We should call you the calm posse or something like that, couldn't we? That'd be better than repeat offenders. It just came out of my mouth one time and I've been saying it ever since. But let me know if you're new to these sessions or you're new to me completely. Maybe you found me through some of my other recordings. That would be good to hear. And what's brought you here today? Maybe it's the word intuition. It's a lovely word, isn't it? I think it's something that people look for, the ability to live our lives more from intuition. I think in our relationships it's really, really important. And I've got a couple of stories to share today about my own how intuition has possibly been ignored in some of my relationships but then followed in others, and how that's kind of turned out. So a little bit about me before we start. So my name's Claire Downham. I'm known as the Queen of Calm, and I like to tell people that is not because I'm calm all the time, because I don't think that's possible. But it is because I'm calm when I'm not calm, if you see what I mean. Like, I'm calm about not being calm. So I can get upset, I can get angry. Yes, my other half, he's sat at the back of the motorhome at the moment. I can get upset, I can get angry, I can get frustrated, I can get anxious, I can be sad. And that's all okay. And because it's okay, it passes so much quicker. And I think that's one of the things that I really love people to see, is that I guess if you're on an app like Insight Timer, you have tried quite a lot of things to feel okay, and you may be still exploring that. And I really like to say that what I provide is subtractive and takes things off your mind and doesn't give you anything else to do, but allows you to be in a place of well-being, connected to that so much more of the time, without loads of tools and techniques and strategies and things like that. And trust me, I've tried all of those too, a lot of them over quite a few years, more years than I actually. When I first started talking about this, I used to say it was kind of after I burnt out that I got into this, but when I think about it, I was already into self-development stuff before that. So hello, Eleanor, lovely to see you. I love how you say hello to everyone else as well, Eleanor. That's so nice. So I was on this super intensive self-development path for quite a few years, until I came across this really simple understanding of how the mind works, which is called the three principles. And the three principles is it's just an understanding of how things work. That there's nothing to do. There's nothing for us to there's no fixing. There's no trying to make ourselves better. There's no tools, no techniques, no poking around in the past. All it does is it helps us to just understand how we're working, how the human experience is being created. And as a result of that, we start to navigate life with more and more ease. And to be honest, the more time you spend in this conversation, the more impact that has. So for me, I came across this in January 2020, and I had some coaching, initially from a friend of mine, but I've had other coaching as I've gone on my journey, from him and from other people too. So I had a block of coaching, and then I listened to a lot of content around this understanding and attended some little mini courses and stuff as well. And I found very quickly just life seemed a lot nicer, and I seemed a lot calmer, and everybody around me seemed to be less of a bother. And trust me, like before that, I used to find people a real bother. Like I loved them, but I used to get very irritated by people's behaviour and think I was right and they were wrong. There's a lot of judgment from me, and that all just started to fall away. I noticed other things like my relationship with food changed, my productivity levels changed, all my relationships got better, but life just seemed nicer. And the key to know about this is that if anything, during that first few months, my physical circumstances got worse. As in, I had a business before that, and I lost that business overnight. So I was a hypnotherapist. I worked in person. My whole business was based on in-person work in my house, and suddenly I couldn't do that anymore. For obvious reasons, because it was March 2020 and we weren't allowed to play out anymore, and people weren't allowed to come to my house to get hypnotherapy. But because I'd learnt so much about the three principles by then, it was okay. And I felt okay about it. And yeah, I looked to what I could do next and how I could change it. And I did all the practical things, like made sure that I had a mortgage payment, break, and, all sorts of those kind of practical things that I could do. We cut down on spending and, all the things. My fiance was also furloughed, so money was tight. But it was okay. And I saw, in fact, that it was a gift. And it meant that I didn't have to carry on doing hypnotherapy. I could more quickly change to share the three principles. And that's what I've been doing. I did some retraining, and that's what I've been doing ever since. And I call myself a human potential catalyst, but I'm not sure if that's particularly landing. Any marketing people in the room want to give me some feedback on that one? But I'm a mentor, I think, fundamentally. Well, I know fundamentally that I'm a mentor. So I use coaching techniques, but I also teach this understanding. I share what I've seen in terms of the truth, the really simple truth about how life works. And that seems to help people to have a nicer experience as well. So, can you hear him? I'm like, he's gone outside to take the phone call. And now he's walking round the van to the side of the van where I'm actually sat. So getting a little dose of Bruce's working day on our session today, but never mind. So I mostly work with women. I do work with men too. And I work with you if you are feeling stuck or you're blocked in some way by the thoughts you have about yourself and the world. You might call that imposter syndrome or inner critic or perfectionism. You're maybe procrastinating. There may be other things going on, but you kind of know there's something else out there. And you know that because you've tried to make it different by doing tools and techniques and therapy and all those kind of things. And maybe you're just like a little bit tired of it. I speak to people a lot who have tried everything to feel better, to do better, to be better in the world, and they're just a bit tired of it, really. I was definitely tired of it. So if you're new here, say hi and let me know. And do let me know where in the world you are. I can see I've got Fanaz here. Nice to see you again, Fanaz, and Eleanor and Fanaz saying hi to each other, which I really like. I like that everybody connects with each other here as well. So if you're new and you've never been to one of my sessions before, then I'd love to know that, because it just helps me to know kind of how to pitch things. Although I think this is something that everybody can hear on a level that's appropriate to them, which is nice, really, because you'll hear what you need to hear. Hello, Mira. Lovely to have you here. You'll hear what you need to hear. So if you want to find out more about me, what I do, how I can help, etc., then please do pop over to my bio. Give me a follow if you've not followed me before, and then you can see all the sessions that I have. So hello, Anna. You are new from New Zealand. I feel it's late in New Zealand, perhaps. Or is it tomorrow? Or is it today, later on today? It's later on today, isn't it? I do like going, which way am I going? Yeah, later on, quite late today. Wednesday, Thursday. Is it Thursday? I have no idea what day, because I'm in the motorhome on a Thursday. I always think it's the weekend. I'm in the motor. Thursday at 10:15. Right, so there's an 11-ish difference. So yeah, hop over there and follow me, and check out my courses. So I've got 4 courses now. I'm just in the process of bringing together the 5th course. Now, I don't know why I've done it this way around, but the 5th course is going to be a real kind of basic course in the 3 principles, which I hope, like a fundamentals kind. I might call it fundamentals, actually. Fundamentals of calm or something like that. Quite like that. Need to write that down. Yeah, I will. It will be available towards the end of this month, beginning of next month. Probably the end of this month, because I have to have it done before I go to live in Scotland for a couple of weeks in the motorhome. So Fundamentals of Calm is quite good. Who likes that title? Fundamental of Calm. Fundamental Principles, or Principles of Calm, maybe, something like that. Anyway, that's my head buzzing around with the title. Let's leave that aside for a moment, but let me know if you like the title and whether you'd appreciate that. But otherwise, I have these 4 courses: Calm, Balance and Clarity with Ease, Revealing Your Full Potential with the 3 Principles, and Stress to Success, a 3 Principles approach to effortless productivity, and Creating Harmonious Connections and Enhancing Relations with the 3 Principles. And I'm going to make the next one a much shorter title, because I've just realised the titles have got longer and longer as I've gone on. No idea why. That's really funny. And so, these I do lots of live sessions on here. I've got one more this week, and then I've got to sit and schedule in the next chunk. But I do a lot of live sessions, and the aim of these sessions is for me to share a bit, but then to get onto what's going on for you and particularly this month in your relationships. This month's theme is relationships. Next month's theme will be around this basic course, the Fundamentals of Calm, or the Principles of Calm, something like that. So I want this to be for you, this session. It's not for me. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. And just a reminder on that these sessions, which are, really easily accessible, are brought to you by donation. That supports me. It supports Insight Timer in the work they do. So if you are able to make a donation, I think the button's like up there somewhere, isn't it? I have done a few lives, been to a few lives myself now, and I know now where the button is. So if you are able to make donations, then I'm utterly grateful for that. But let's get into the subject today. It's been really interesting for me, and I keep saying this, so you've probably heard this before, but some people won't have heard it, that the same themes have come out this month, the August, exploring relationships, as last month, which was productivity in July. The same themes are coming out. I talked about intuition when I talked about productivity, and yet I'm talking about it again. And I just think that's really interesting, that it's, and what that points to for me is that there are some fundamental things about human beings and how they work. And I don't know what you think, but I feel like we were never really given that instruction manual. We're kind of given this body in some way, shape or form. We're given the body, we're given the mind, and then we just kind of get on with life really. And nobody ever sits us down and says, oh, by the way, did you know there's some truths about how your system functions, how your psycho-spiritual system functions, and they're true for everybody. And I don't think we're ever told that. We're told, I mean, psychology's got all sorts of fabulous models and theories, hasn't it? Most of which, quite frankly, I think are absolute rubbish. I've been reading a book recently. I've just finished it called Very Well. And the lady in the story has been exploring Freud, and I'm quite tempted now to read a book about Freud. But what she pointed to was that really most of what he said was rubbish, quite frankly. They were all literally ideas, not proven. Nothing that he shared was scientifically proven. It was just, what he thought was the case. The trouble with that is that he was so good, a very egotistical man, very good at marketing, and as a result of that has created this model of psychology and psychotherapy, etc. That it's a lot of what we use now, particularly within, if you're in the UK, within your health, our National Health Service, your health service, counselling, CBT, etc. They're all based on these foundations, and the foundations aren't very good. So that, because they're missing principles, and everything scientific needs principles. So as a human being, you have these principles which describe how your human experience is created, or they are the fundamental building blocks of your human experience. And they are known as mind, consciousness, and thought. Now, I'm not going to go too much into that. I do have a track on here, which is called What are the Three Principles and Why Did They Bring More Ease to Life? Definitely that's a free track. It's worth listening to that. And there is something on the link in my bio as well that's also worth checking out. There's a little video there, I think. And there's ways to kind of sign up with me and connect with me there where you can access more. So what I talk about in these sessions is more the implications of the three principles. Like, once we know that thought, consciousness, and universal mind, or the universal energy, God, whatever you want to call it, are coming together to create our experience, what does that tell us about the human experience? So today we're looking at intuition and really connecting to the guidance in our relationships. So I'll tell you my first story around this, where I really, really did ignore my intuition when I was deciding to walk down the aisle with my first husband. I don't actually have a second husband yet. I've got a second fiance. I haven't got a second husband yet because we just haven't got round to getting married. He's looking at me now. Why are you talking about me? I remember in the run-up to my marriage, so I got married the first time in 1997, which is a really long time ago now, I've been separated for nearly 10 years. So, and I remember the run up, because it's all very busy, isn't it? Anybody here who's married, can you remember the run up to getting married? It's busy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to think about. But I remember, well, this is how I'm relating at a past memory, of course, which is not going to be utterly accurate. But the sense for me was that I knew I was making a mistake, that this was not the right relationship for me. It had already been quite fractious. There was already a lot of arguing. But so there was this feeling in my gut that it wasn't right and that I shouldn't marry him, but I did. And we stayed married. We were together for 20 years. We were married for 17. And as you can relate, yeah. So, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, and you're not. We're not the only two, Fanaz, who've been through the same. And so, I don't. Regret is such a pointless waste of time, really. I love my children, absolutely adore them. We must have had some happy times, my ex-husband and I. But I don't know. I don't know what would happen if we hadn't got married. I don't want to go there, but I just want to point out that this is how I see our intuition working. It comes in quite clear. Like for me, intuition is that quiet voice that we do. It's familiar. So I often liken it to, when you're out in the countryside and you see a field with sheep and lambs. That's a lawnmower, which is now very loudly parked behind my motorhome. No, it's actually doing some digging. I'm not sure what it's doing. You can probably see better than me. Oh, it's going to do that over and over again. Just bear with me one moment. Honey, can you help me shut the doors and windows, please? I'm not going to be able to hear myself think. I'm just going to shut the doors and windows so we can hear each other. Right? Or you can hear me. Seriously. Is he actually trying to park up the side of us? So now we'll just be boiling the bag. because I've shut all the doors and windows. It's really warm in here. Luckily we have a bit of shade. And just as I've done that, I switched the engine off. He's actually parked, literally touching the motorhome, up the side of the motorhome. Anyway, now it's strangers folk. Anyway, so I got married, and eventually got divorced because I didn't listen to my intuition and I stuck it out a long time. And the second time I remember feeling like that, but I listened a lot quicker this time. I was in a short relationship of about 3 months before I met my fiance now, and I was met on somebody online. And I mean, it was very physical, like this icky feeling. So before we were interrupted by the gardener, what I was saying is that I think your intuition is this feeling that just, well, it feels very calm, and it's often quiet, but it's often the first voice. And what I was going to say about the sheep was, that's where I was going. Sorry, the distraction really did tip me over the edge, not tip me over the edge, but lost the plot. So the sheep thing. So if you're in the countryside and there's, like, when the baby lambs are born and there's a field full of sheep and baby lambs. I don't know why the word baby needs to come with lambs, because a lamb clearly is a baby sheep. But that they can find each other. Like, if you walk close to, even if you're the other side of the fence, you walk close to them, the mothers start calling and the babies start calling, and they're back together very, very quickly. Even if they have wandered a bit away from the mother temporarily, they're straight back into being with the mother. And that, that's because they recognize that voice, that the lamb recognizes a sheep. And I often think your intuition's a bit like that. It's like it's a voice you recognise, a voice that is familiar, and it comes with a good feeling. Now, the thing is, what then happens is our thinking, the thinking that says, well, you've just spent all this money on a wedding and invited all these people and blah, 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 and you can't possibly back out of it now. What are you going to do? You live with him and it's too hard and it's too complicated. And anyway, he'll change. That was the story. He'll change, so it'll be fine. All of that thinking then comes in, and we end up not able to hear the wisdom. But the other thing that happens is that so here's a lovely calm feeling that the wisdom is saying, right, this is not right for you. This relationship is not okay. This is not the right place to go in your life. And then the thinking comes in. I hope you like my actions. The thinking comes in, and that's noisy. It's noisy, and it comes in very quickly, and it comes with an uncomfortable feeling. And the thing is, we associate that uncomfortable feeling with that thought to do the intuition thought. So the intuition thought comes with calm, but then the difficult thinking or the contradictory thinking is a good word. The contradictory thinking comes in, and that we think we just make a misassociation in that moment, in that we think that the icky feeling that comes with our busy thinking is telling us about that first thought, the intuition thought. So we don't follow our intuition. And I think that happens all the time. And I think that's why calm is so important, because calm allows us the space to connect more deeply to that voice. When we're calm, we won't go quickly into a thought storm that then makes us think our intuition is wrong. We'll stay with the intuition more, we'll follow it, we'll explore it, we'll take the next little step. So I hope that makes sense as a way of looking at things, and perhaps let me know in the comments if you've had a similar experience. Fanaz has shared a similar experience there, where you've kind of rode roughshod, I suppose, over a voice in you that was saying, this is not okay. You're going the wrong way. Or perhaps a voice that said, this is the right way to go. And you didn't do that. And you know, I think most of us have got experiences all day, every day, even if it's just what we choose to eat, or what we choose to say, or what we choose to do. Oh, Rita, bless you. Bless you. Almost 1 year narcissist free. I'm sorry to hear about that. I'm guessing that there was something there around you not listening to your intuition. So Chantel, you've had the opposite. Your intuition was warning me, you threw your gut. It was screaming at me not to do something. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, that's exactly what my gut was saying. My gut was saying, don't marry this man. Now, the second time I just talked about, with the much shorter term relationship, I did listen to it. And partly I kind of had to, because it was starting to make me feel physically ill going to see this bloke. It was not good. My stomach was literally like upset. I had an upset stomach a lot of the time. And as soon as I said, this is not for me, it's not for you either, kind of thing, that just went away. So I do think sometimes if we don't listen, our body will shout louder, and we might get physical symptoms and things from the stress of that thinking. So, and from the stress of kind of going in the wrong direction and our whole system kind of reacting to that. So I think we've all had those kind of experiences where we've not listened. So that's where I think, like, even in terms of our relationships, even just being with a person who's the right kind of person. Oh, bless you, Rita. You took him back 3 times. Yeah. And I hope, you said you were deaf, but I really hope that you can see your own psychological innocence here, that you were doing the best with what made sense to you at the time. and that you've got compassion for yourself, because that's so important. We do, all of us, ignore our intuition all the time, like on a regular basis. But that's because we just believe in the thinking that we've got available to us, and I love to remind people of psychological innocence. Your psychology rules the roost sometimes, and you listen to the thinking that maybe isn't the best or most helpful. And it's, that's normal. That's really normal. And be kind to yourself about it. I hope you can be, Rita. I really do. So even ending up, like I said, even ending up with a person who's the right kind of person for us, because not everybody is going to be best if it's led by our intuition. But where else in relationships does it come in? And I think in our daily interactions, this is where I see it comes in. So let's take a disagreement. I have those. Bruce is probably sat at the back of the van laughing, because we all have them, don't we? We all have disagreements. So sometimes Bruce will do something that I don't approve of, or I don't like, or I don't want him to do, and and I'll probably think he's done it a few times before, so I'll be particularly annoyed about it. Now, I often will speak from that place of annoyance, and then Bruce and I will butt heads with each other a bit, and then we generally don't. It doesn't last very long because we're just not like that anymore. But it isn't pleasant, and it doesn't really need to happen. Now, that's because I'm letting my thinking about that situation rule the roost. So here's what happens in our relationships. Somebody does something. We're all in some kind of relationships. It doesn't really matter who they're with. It could be with your partner, with your kids, with your, especially if you've got teenage kids. Anybody here got teenage kids? Bless them. Teenage kids, bosses, subordinates at work, people who you manage. There's a whole raft of people we have to kind of rub along with in life. Now, sometimes those people do things we don't like, don't they? Things we think are wrong, things we think we've told them not to do many, many times before. And what we can then experience is a feeling. So perhaps you could, in the comments, tell me what you might call that feeling. Anger, frustration, irritation, general, like, oh God, really again, that kind of eye rolling. Worry maybe. But we get caught up in a feeling here, and then what we generally do is we think the other person is creating the feeling, and that's where we go wrong. That first piece is immediately us looking in the wrong direction, because fundamentally and factually, that feeling isn't coming from the other person. You're probably thinking, what on earth is she on about? Of course that person made me feel angry. Well, no, it's not that person. It's our perspective on that person's behaviour, our thinking about it. Now, there's two places where you could probably see this yourself, and that is, let's say you've got a boss and you've got 3 colleagues, you and 2 other colleagues, and the boss has some behaviours that are a bit annoying to you, but the other people aren't really bothered about them. They're not bothered. Or perhaps you're kind of in the middle and there's one person who literally is nearly murdering the boss, so cross with them, and another person who's really not bothered about the boss at all. So you've got these kind of differing relationships, differing feelings towards the boss, but so it can't be the boss, can it? Because if it was the boss, everybody would feel the same. Here's another example. During the lockdown, there was a whole raft of different feelings. I quite enjoyed it. Other people didn't. Some people felt trapped in their homes. Other people felt safe in their homes. Everybody had a different feeling state. And if you put them on a graph, it'd be a scatter graph. It would just show you so many different feelings that people had about lockdown, government decisions and everything else. So can't be that. It's not the outside world, is it? I do an activity where I play some music in workshops sometimes for businesses. Understanding stress workshop, I call it. And I find I play this piece of music. It's a piece from Madame Butterfly, and I ask people to just put in the comments what they feel like when they listen to this music, and everything from sad to calm to relaxed, peaceful. The range is quite huge. Depressed, somebody put once, and it's Madame Butterfly, so it is sad, but some people felt peaceful listening to it. Some people felt calm. So it isn't the music, and it isn't the boss, and it isn't even your email inbox, because everybody's got a different number. I've got 150 something emails in my inbox at the moment. If you want to reach out to me, better off doing that on Telegram. You can connect to that on my link in bio, because my email inbox is just something I occasionally tap. I prefer other forms of communication. But some people, once they get to 10 emails in their inbox, they start to feel stressed about it. So it can't be email inboxes either that make us feel things. And you probably also noticed that let's say your teenage kids, some days when you're in a high mood and you're quite relaxed and you've had a lovely day doing something else, your teenagers can do really rubbishy things that you don't like, and you just kind of, oh, come on guys, take it easy, don't do that, and you're really kind of calm about it and relaxed about it. And then other days it seems like you would want to throw them out, because they're doing exactly the same thing. Your mood's different though, your state of mind's different, and so therefore how you react to that is different. But we're creating that experience. Now, I don't want you to think you've got to change your thoughts and feelings, because that's not where I'm pointing to. But I hope you can see that that's useful, because the feeling is therefore not letting us know about the outside world. It's letting us know about our state of mind in the moment. What we caught up with, what's the story we've wrapped around somebody's behaviour. And in relationships, that's so important for our connection, for our communication, and for our connection to our own intuition. Because I pretty much guarantee that you are more guided by your intuition, and you can hear it better when you're not in a poor state of mind. Yeah, you're right, actually, Fanaz. That's absolutely brilliant. Spot on. When we're happy, even hearing sad music or rain doesn't make you sad. Absolutely. But when we're sad, everything seems and that's exactly what I'm saying. When you're in a low mood, your teenage children could just play music and very quietly that was music you don't like, and you'd lose the plot. Whereas if you're in a high mood, in a great mood, they can be playing, dark metal or something, and you don't care. What is dark metal? I'm literally just saying that. But you know what I mean. So it's really helpful to see that. And this is how I think it's helpful with our communication with our partners, or with anybody else that we need to communicate with. It's about seeing that the feeling is about your state of mind and not about the outside world. If we think the feeling is coming from them, whoever it is, we'll butt heads with them. We'll punch them in the nose. No, we won't punch them, but we may speak to them rudely. We may tell them that's not it. We may wag our finger. We may just be, tone of voice will be off. The words we use will be a bit off, and they will not be the words that get the best out of the other person, because we're communicating from a poor state of mind, indicated to us by this bloody awful feeling in our bodies. I don't often swear on here, but it feels horrible. But it's screaming at us to say, and that's part of the wisdom of your body. It's part of the intuition. It's part of connecting to what's true. Because when we see that in the moment, our reaction to other people is really different. So when I see that my state of mind's off, I might well, I'll wait before I communicate. Now, I don't need to do anything about it because it's going to pass and I'll calm down. But I'll wait, and I'll wait till I feel calmer before I communicate with somebody or send a message. Or we've all done it with email, haven't we? Anybody here done this? You get an email. It's a little bit like, hang on a minute, this is not a very nice email. I don't like it. And so we then reply, and some of the keys on our keyboard come off because we're banging so hard, replying. But then we've all done this, haven't we? We've all gone, ooh, I'm not feeling, maybe that's a bit harsh, and we might leave that email in our drafts folder and come back to it later. Now, in that regard, electronic communication is really handy because it gives us a bit of space sometimes. It's not as easy when the person's right there in front of us, but it is still possible to navigate yourself and your state of mind so that you are in a great place when you communicate with somebody. And here's an example of how that has worked out for me, and what I've seen around this personally. So I've had there's been a tricky relationship in my life since Bruce came into my life, because he brought with him a child, and that child has a mother, and she can be a little challenging, shall we say. I've no doubt he's now laughing at the back of the van, but she just gets very upset quite easily about things that we've done. We think we've had a lovely time with the child, we're happy with what we've done, he's had a lovely time, but then she's not happy, or she's not happy about something else, or she's trying to sometimes withdraw Bruce's time, or she's just an interesting character to navigate. And she would often send these quite rude messages to us about what we've done wrong, and how we haven't done things right over the weekend, etc., etc. And I used to reply, so I used to feel terrible, like angry, I guess is probably the best word for it. Definitely more than frustrated, not fuming, but how very dare you? And I would reply from this anger, like very much, you're wrong, we're right, you've got none of your business, but kind of quite rude. And then you can imagine the rest of our Sunday evening was spent batting these messages back and forth in a really quite unpleasant pattern, leaving nobody feeling particularly good, particularly not us. And then I wouldn't. Bruce sleeps no matter what's going on. I mean, I could set up a firework on Bruce's head in his sleep, but I don't. I tend to carry on. I used to carry on churning it over, so sometimes I wouldn't sleep. I'd wake up in the early hours and think, right, there's something else I need to say to her, just so she can see my point of view, from this place of anger and upset. Not really, not listening to the guidance, because the guidance was saying all the time, Claire, your state of mind is dodgy. It's awful. You're upset. You're angry. You're saying things that are not helpful. You're writing things that are not helpful. You're not going to get the best out of this person by none of that. So for me, intuition also lets you know when you are not in a good state of mind. And we don't always listen to that because we misunderstand what that feeling is. We think that feeling is coming from other people, and that feeling is coming from inside us. Now, I remember the very first time, I know I've shared this before, but there will be people who have not heard it, and I don't think there's any harm in hearing this again, that there was one day when she sent a particular unpleasant message. I always think if a WhatsApp is a scroll up job, it's too long. Very long, very upset message, and I heard my intuition loud and clear, and it said, I got upset, I got the initial, read it and went, oh my God, really, what, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard a voice in my head, and the voice said, Claire, put your phone down because you're in a really poor state of mind and you're not in a good place to reply. So that's what I did. Put my phone down and stopped. And it was really interesting because I then just got on with doing life. Making the evening meal, eating the evening meal, watching a bit of telly, just chilling out. And I noticed at one point that I felt much calmer. I hadn't thought about it. It took me a while to stop thinking about it. But once I'd stopped thinking about it, I calmed down. And when I looked at the message again, all I could see was somebody who was really upset. Like that's got nothing to do with us, really. It's to do with her perspective on things. We know we're doing a good job of looking after this child when he's with us. And there was no reply. There was no reply. There was nothing. Now, that was that occasion. It's like from my intuition said, there is no reply to this. This is just someone who's upset. And there was a lot of compassion there, because I think all these things, compassion, intuition, wisdom, calm, they're all part of this universal intelligence that we have access to. This innate well-being that we have access to. And so then there was no reply that time. Now, there's been other occasions when she sent similar messages, and on a kind of, and the same things happen, that the initial voice, don't reply, you're not in a good state for this, blah, blah, blah. And then later on, when I've been calm, it has actually made sense to practically say, well, no, that's not really the case, and it's okay, or something settling, or something very focused on the child. It's always something more focused on the child and what he's gaining out of having the experience of living, going to two different people's house, living in two different people's houses. And there was one occasion where we had done something over the weekend that she didn't like, and that was the response. When I was calm, it actually made sense to say to her, look, he's going to learn from us, and he's going to learn from you, and he's going to learn from school, and he's going to learn from his peers, and he's going to learn from his grandparents and all the other things that he's exposed to, television and YouTube. And she doesn't restrict his YouTube access, but she's trying to restrict what we do. And he's learning some absolute rubbish from YouTube that we have to keep counteracting. So, and I just said, he's going to learn from all these places, and then he's going to be Ethan. It's not really it's not really for us to decide. We're just going to share our truth with him, and he'll learn from bits of it, and that's not, you don't get to control that. It's okay. He's doing well. He's a good kid. So something reassuring like that. So, and I think that is that navigation system, which is innate to all of us, is just misunderstood. It's always there because it's always letting us know about our state of mind. We feel anxious, we've got anxious thinking. We feel angry, we've got angry thinking. We feel sad, we've got sad thinking. We feel happy, we've got happy thinking. And when we really get that, we can just navigate life with so much more ease. Like, I know so much better when to stop and when to go these days. And because that releases this quieter space, the guidance is there. But the guidance is not like, I think sometimes when people talk about intuition, they do talk about it just being about quiet, but the anxious feeling is your wisdom trying to guide you to say, hey, watch out. Here's some wisdom for you. Here's some intuition for you. There's a rubbishy feeling. Watch out for your thinking right now. It's a bit dodgy. It's a bit untrue. It's a lot untrue. It's not helpful. So I'm going to pause for breath. I should. It's a good idea, I think. And let me know what you're hearing so far, what you've found helpful, what you've heard that you've never heard before. Because I don't think this is the general way in which people talk about feelings. They're something to be dealt with or got rid of, aren't they, often? But they are your intuition talking to you. And in relationships, if you can start to see, oh, my state of mind is not good, and when it's better, you're in a better place to communicate, you do still say what you want. Like the other day, something happened with Bruce and I can't even remember what it was. And we were it was over the weekend, and we were doing a lot of kind of decluttering and getting rid of stuff and clearing out crutches that have been in my house for about 10 years, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And he said something, I didn't like it, I can't remember what it was. And I carried on like doing some jobs and just kept away from him for a bit. Like it was a bit grumpy, you know. Like, but after a while, I felt a lot calmer, and I said to him, "Sweetheart, I really prefer you didn't say that. I don't like it, and if you could try not to say it, I'd be grateful." Oh, I know he's probably not going to do that all the time because it's something he says when he's upset. So, but you know, the request to not do it, when it comes from that calm place, there's just a better connection. So, because to me, the intuition is shared, not my intuition and your intuition. It's a shared essence. And if we're calm and we're coming from this guidance system, then we can connect more deeply to the other person. We're going to do that best when we're calm. Definitely. So I can see lots of other people have come on while I've been chatting. So do let me know if you if there's anything you've heard today. Let me know where you are, and if you're new, let me know. If you don't follow me already, please do. I'm sharing lots of content like this about relationships at the moment. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about compassion and understanding. It's going to be a great follow-on from this, and that's at 1:11 p.m. on Friday. So bless you, Fanaz. Your nephew is depressed. He has 2 wives and 7 children. Goodness. And his other aunt from his dad's side keeps messaging me that she's been there for him, implying you haven't. I don't know what to do. You drove 200 miles to visit one of his family. Paul mentioned it already today. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I think for you, Fanaz, there's something there about like trying to keep calm is trying to hold back the Dead Sea. I mean, I believe that's what Moses did, but I don't think we're really capable of that. I don't know if Moses did that, but it's a story in the Bible that your system is a flowing system, and often our attempts to keep in a particular state of mind just don't work because we're adding more noise into an already noisy system. And what you're describing there sounds like something a little bit tricky, to say the least, but also like for you to notice what your state of mind is. You've had 4 messages since 5 a.m. this morning. When you see, I imagine when you even see your phone light up with that person's name, that you start to think, oh God, here we go again. Like, notice that. And know that when you're calm is the time to deal with this, not when you're caught up. Use that as a tool of navigation. So Chantel, great insight, thank you. Listening to intuition when calm, but also knowing that guidance, Chantel, is in the uncomfortable feelings as well, because it's letting you know about your state of mind. And then what makes sense for you to do once you know your state of mind isn't good is what makes sense for you to do. Sometimes I just distract myself, or I do something while my system resets. You have innate well-being. The system can take you back to calm. You don't have to do anything about it. So, Chantal, your family had hidden something from you, and your intuition was screaming to you about this. How do you relay this to them in a calm way? Yeah, bless you. They'd all lied to you. Goodness gracious, and you found out the truth a few weeks ago. Well, so watch out for the feeling. It's the feeling is the guide, Chantal. And this is a great question. It's the kind of thing I deal with all the time with my clients. Is reply when you're ready, when you know you're calm, when you know some of the heat has gone out of it, I suppose. Like, I just don't think we connect to other people. It often seems like we need to say it now, doesn't it? I've got to say this now. I've got to get this off my chest. And now there are some emergency situations. if a child is running out in the front of a car, you're clearly going to like do something about that, you know, in terms of you might shout at the child or go, no, you know, you might do something like, but a lot of things are not like that. A lot of things are not like that. They're not as urgent as we think they are. And Chantal, if there's a feeling of urgency, watch out for that too. Watch out for that too. If it feels like you've got to deal with it now, and then you don't feel good, and so then that feels worse, doesn't it? Because you feel like you want to deal with it, and it feels you've got to deal with it now. So there's this added pressure and this added uncomfortable feeling that that then, you know, can feel really awkward. Right, so Fanaz, you're actually scared of replying to her, and you don't owe her. No, you don't owe her any explanation. You're right. But whenever you're in that place of fear, just notice that. So I'm going to end this session in a moment because my fiance's just started a work meeting, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really just, can you hear it? It's just distracting me listening to his meeting because he's hosting it, so he has to talk. So I will close. I'm so glad so many of you are here. I can see lots of people will come in late, but there is this will be at the moment freely available on a YouTube channel, which I'm shortly going to make something that you need to sign up for to access. So but at the moment they're just getting put onto my YouTube channel, the recordings of these sessions. So please do check it out if you've missed. If you have missed it as well, there will be a short recording going live shortly that will provide you with a bit of what we've talked about today, but in a 15-minute kind of podcast. There are 4 courses for you to check out on my profile, so if you haven't followed me yet, please do hop over there and follow me, and I'm just losing the plot because I'm so distracted so easily. Oh, Monica, thank you. You caught the end. Oh, Monica, thank you so much. That's a lovely thing to say, that I'm so helpful to you. That's so lovely. Thank you, Monica. Do reach out. Do go to the link on my bio. There's a place you can reach out to me there. And do remember that Insight Timer and I bring these sessions to you via donation. If you are able to make a donation, that does support me, and it also supports Insight Timer in the work that they do in providing this amazing platform for us to be on. So the next purchase I'm going to make is a soundproof curtain, so that I can pull that up at the back of the fan and hide Bruce's noise, because you don't need to know about his meeting, do you? So lots of love, everyone. Tomorrow we're doing Nurturing Compassionate Understanding at 1:11 p.m. on Friday the 11th, and I need to schedule the next lot of lives soon. So hopefully I'll do that in the next couple of days, and then you'll be able to see what's coming up. But yeah, I hope that I'll see some more of you at some other sessions. Do reach out, check out my bio, check out the link in bio. Please do follow me so you'll find out about all my new stuff, and do check out some of my courses. So if you're already a paying member of Insight Timer, premium member is it called, you can access all my courses already, and that's a great place to get to know more about me, to find out more about this understanding, and to support me too, because if you access my courses, that's a way of supporting me. And if you interact with me on there as well, it's a great place to chat. You can ask me questions and I can give you little voice note replies. So if there's something specific that you're stuck with around relationships, then that's a great place. Or you can message me as well. So take care, everyone. Lots of love, and I hope to see some of you again tomorrow. Take care. Thank you.